Hi guys, this is Melita Fernandez and welcome to yet another financial savvy episode of It's All About Money. So, over the years, I have made money, I have lost money, my finances have grown, my investments have had some wonderful returns, I have been scammed too. Now, all of this started with me opening a savings account, which happened close to about a decade ago when I first started to make my own money. Now, if you wish to learn how to open your own savings account, if you're doing this for the very first time, or if you're even thinking of having a second or a third savings account, if you wish to understand more about the parameters that you should consider before opening a savings account and the documents that you would require for it, I would suggest you stick on to this video and continue watching on. Now, according to the World Bank, almost 80% of India's population has a savings account, which is a very, very good thing. But on the flip side, that also means that 20% of our population, which is close to about 190 million of them, do not have a savings account whatsoever, which also means that they do not have any financial records, making us second largest right after China. Now, let's put things a bit more into perspective. Imagine in a world where we've all moved towards online banking, net banking, online transaction, a significant population of India still deals with cash. In this case, close to about 190 million of our population. And that also means that they do not get to reap the same benefits of a savings account like the way we do. Now, before I speak a bit more about the parameters that you should consider before you open a savings account, what is a savings account and the documents for it, let me quickly thank you guys for the love and the support that you guys have shown towards the first video, which was the 50-30-20 thumb rule, the money plan. It's a budgeting hack that I'm personally using to track my financial journey and to actually make my finances a lot more transparent and accountable. Now, just in case you haven't watched that video, I would highly recommend you watch that video because that should give you the foundation on which you can actually start budgeting your finances for the forthcoming year 2021. So just in case you haven't watched that video, I would have had that video linked into this one. And with that said, let's dive right back into today's topic, which is how to actually go ahead and open a savings account. Now, let's take a basic example of when we were kids and we all had a piggy bank. We would end up putting all our spare change into that piggy bank. Eventually, the money within the piggy bank would start to grow. I remember as a kid, I would withdraw money from my piggy bank for ice cream, sometimes a horse ride by the Jew beach, often enough. I've also treated my family for a pizza party or whatsoever. But at the end of the day, it would make me feel extremely content, extremely happy, knowing about the fact that it was the money that I saved that was being used behind my family members, or it was being used for myself as well. Now think of your savings account as a piggy bank that you actually own in the real world. Now, I am a big believer that opening a savings account is the first step that the individual takes towards their financial journey, and the rest quite literally follows along. Think of a savings account as a safe place for you where you can actually save your money, you can actually have your income come through, you can have your salary come through. It's a platform that gives you so many opportunities, and there are endless amount of benefits when it comes to opening a savings account. Now, when it comes to the benefits, I shall be talking about that in the next episode. Now, I remember my first savings account was actually opened for me by my mom at the age of 19 when I had actually started to work. I remember that every salary that I actually received, my mom would actually deposit that money within my savings account. Eventually, the money within my savings account started to grow just like the money within the piggy bank. But this time, it was real money in the real world, and it was just a matter of growing up. Now, there were a few things back maybe about a decade ago which I did not know when I first opened my savings account, which I do know now, which are the main parameters that you should consider before opening a savings account. So let's get talking about those. Now, one of the first things that you should check while opening a savings account is what is the interest that the bank is offering you on your savings account. So basically, your savings account is an interest bearing account, which means that you actually earn an interest for having money within the bank. Now, the interest on your savings account could be anywhere from 2.5% to about 6%, depending upon which bank are you actually banking with. So higher the interest rate on your savings account, the better it is for you. Now, just very hypothetically speaking, now supposedly if bank number A is offering you an interest of about say 3% on your savings account, and bank number B is offering you an interest of about say 5% on your savings account, then the ideal option would be to opt for bank number B that's offering you an interest of about 5%. So basically, higher the interest rate, the better it is. So this is something very noteworthy and something that you should consider before opening your savings account. Now, the second parameter to consider would be the minimum balance requirement. Now, every savings account has a minimum balance requirement, and this minimum balance could be anywhere as low as about 50 rupees to about say 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 25,000, depending upon what kind of an account do you hold with the bank and what's the bank that you're actually dealing with as well. So it's very important to consider these minimum balance requirement for a very simple reason, because just like banks pay you an interest for having savings within the savings account, they do charge you a penalty if you do not meet the minimum balance requirement as well. And the last thing you want is a penalty to be charged on your account for not meeting these requirements. So while opening a savings account, it's definitely a good idea to consider what's the minimum balance requirement for that particular savings account. See what's your income or your salary and what are your spending habits. And based on that, you can probably decide whether you can actually meet the expectations of that savings account. And if yes, then that would be the ideal option for you to go ahead with. And now the final thing to consider would be the proximity of the bank to the place where you work or to the place that you live. So the closer the bank is to your workplace or to your home, the better it is for you. And I cannot emphasize on this enough. Now I do know that everything has moved online, so the chances of us physically visiting our banks these days is relatively low, but we still haven't gotten quite there yet when it comes to the entire online banking world. There would still be a couple of times during the year where we'd have to visit our bank physically if we have to deposit cash, or if there are certain things when we're trying to work online with the online transaction of ours, if things aren't working, or if we have to speak about investments, if we have to meet with our personal banker or our relationship manager, that we would have to go down to the bank to actually personally resolve this. And when you have your bank which is closer to the place that you live or to the place you work, it's just a matter of ease for you to go down to your bank and actually resolve these issues, as compared to obviously having to take the entire time and the effort and the energy to travel far away to actually visit your bank. Now similarly for me, I have a bank which is literally about say 7 minutes walking distance away from my house, which is super cool, because for me, every time I face a hassle when it comes to various online transactions, or if the server is down and there's something super urgent that I have to do, and if for any reason I cannot figure that out at my home, then I know it's just a matter of going down and taking a 7 minutes walk and figuring this out with my personal banker. And similarly, just for the time, energy and the ease, it's definitely a very good idea to consider having a bank that's closer to your place of work or closer to where you live. And now that the parameters have been set, here's what you would require in regards to documentation. So the first thing would be your ID proof, and the second would be your address proof. Now your ID proof could be anything from your PAN card to your Aadhaar card to your driver's license to your passport, and address proof could be anywhere, once again, from your passport details to your driver's license to any of the utility bills that actually come to your place by your name. Those could be used as well. And the bank should actually ask you for 2 passport size photographs, and there you go, voila, you have yourself your very own savings account, which is super cool. Now things have drastically moved online as well, so there was a time that you had to physically go down to the bank and actually submit all of these documents to ensure that you have a savings account. But since things have moved online over the past few months, things have drastically changed to such an extent, even with the pandemic and the lockdown, that you no longer need to physically even visit your branch to actually open yourself a savings account. There are many banks that offer the opportunity of actually opening a savings account online, which means that you actually upload all of these documents onto their site. They do the required verification, and once they've looked through your documents, they literally open a savings account for you, which is extremely simple and hassle free again. Now, I completely believe that opening a savings account is the first step that an individual should take towards their financial journey, and reaping the benefits of a savings account is what makes the ride completely enjoyable. Unfortunately, 20% of India's population still does not have a savings account and hence lacks the opportunity to reap the benefits of it. But there are so many benefits of having a savings account, and these benefits will be discussed in the next episode. They say the best time to actually save money is when you have some money. So if you are making money, I would say go ahead and open that savings account of yours. Now, just in case you haven't watched my previous video, which was the 50-30-20 money plan, this is a budgeting thumb rule that will literally set the foundation for the coming year, which is 2021. I would highly recommend to watch that video and to understand how you can actually manage your finances much more effectively and get the much needed accountability and transparency when it comes to understanding your money. So just in case you haven't watched that video, I would have linked that video into this one. Next week's episode, we shall talk about the benefits of having a savings account. So do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have found this video helpful, please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. And with that said, it's time for me to wrap up by saying thank you for watching this video, and I shall see you guys next week. This is Melita signing off, saying adios and stay safe. God bless.